What is good, everybody? It is your boy, Pat the Designer, back at it again. Joined by the pettiest man alive, Mr. P.Kidd, in the building. The Chicago Bulls have been eliminated from playoff contention by the Milwaukee Bucks and what we can only call a wire-to-wire blowout. Let's talk about it starting now. If you are new to the channel, man, hit that like button, subscribe to the page, because we do talk Chicago sports daily on this channel. It's the only channel talking Chicago sports, how Chicago talk. So make sure that you get in tune with us, man. The Bulls end up getting manhandled in this playoffs, -1 game that we saw that was very entertaining. We will always remember Tuesday. It was a very fun day. Yeah, I'm saying. But as far as this series goes as a whole, not so much this game specifically, right? Because the Bulls were facing such an uphill battle in this game. But as far as this series goes as a whole, Kid, how would you evaluate what the Bulls did in this series and how it's going to affect them moving forward? Because if we're being 100% honest, this was year one of a much longer process that AK has in place.
I can't really grade it from a team perspective, simply because I feel like we were outclassed and outmatched every step of the way. The Bucks, as currently constructed, are a much better team. From bench to starters, they have a complete team, and we just don't at the moment. And so I don't want to do that. I do want to sit here and say, as an evaluation year, we got a good chance to see what certain pieces would do. Vooch had a very slow start to the season, trying to figure it out, trying to get into the rhythm of playing with two scorers, things of that nature. Relatively new position for him, being the third string, so to speak. Third option is a better way of putting it. But we saw him pick it up late in the season. We saw him pick it up in the playoffs. First two games of this particular series, he was on par with Giannis. First game one, he was definitely on par with Giannis. Game two, he was comparable. You know, the other games was just us being overpowered and outmatched. But I mean, he showed real heart, real fight. He was the most consistent player, in my opinion, this series. So from that aspect, I look at Vooch as an untradeable piece. I look at him as someone who absolutely showed up when we needed him to. I look at Zach and the grit he showed. Clearly, we've already got the news that he needs knee surgery.
Yeah. So
with that being the case, I look at what he did, the double doubles he put up. He found different ways to be effective, and that's what you want. You want players when, hey, everything's not going right, how else can you contribute to the game? He did that. He really did it. Double-double with rebounds, double-double with assists. He found ways to actually make his impact on the game. And so I appreciate that. So I evaluate that as someone who everyone's on the fence about getting him the max. If this is what it looked like with him limping and laboring and harboring that injury, hey, I'm paying that man his money. DeMar did what DeMar needed to do at most times. I mean, the one game we did win, he went out for 40 plus. We know what we're getting from there. I love to see it. P. Will, not much initially, but at least in the times, like in this particular game, last game right now, he gave you 23 points. He's actually a leading scorer for the Bulls today. Garbage time minutes, I give you that. But he
got a lot of it with Giannis and him in the game.
So I give you
the last couple buckets was garbage time shots, but I mean, still a wide open three, knocking down.
I saw him getting back. Yeah, absolutely. I saw him getting to a rhythm, starting to knock down some shots and stuff like that. If he can continue that trajectory and be more aggressive and more assertive in that respect, I absolutely can see why AK picked him and keeping him around. If not, you know, it may be something for us to consider. Vooch I'm looking at the stats right now, 19, 16, and 6.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? Like, because you have to break it down. Like, you almost can't break it down just in this series. One, because the Bulls were hobbled. Two, because we find out Zach LaVine is playing at 50% on a good day per Joe Cowley. And he's been playing that way for the rest of the season. He's going to get his money. The interesting one to me is DeMar DeRozan, because listen, you came into this series in 5 games, gave me a game with 18 and 8, 6 for 25 though. You gave me a game with 41. Love that game. Excellent game by the Bulls. Next game, you're 4 for 9, 11 points. Game after that, you're 23 points, but we got blown out wire to wire in that one. You're 8 for 20. And now tonight, 5 for 10, you give me 11 points, right? Like, there's some question marks around there. I think the biggest thing for DeMar DeRozan being on this team, and he's going to be on this team next year, right? There's not going to be of course, we're going to see the ones in the comments. You got to trade DeMar. You got to trade Vooch. You got to trade these guys. they're going to be here. Minus you getting back a superstar player. Like for me, you go out and you get a Rudy Gobert. Vooch is probably a part of that deal. Okay, we'll figure it out from there. But now you have a top 5 defender and somebody that if they get the ball more times than not can score the basketball. But I look at moments like this, right? And this right here tells me that DeMar DeRozan can't be your one. In this season, DeMar DeRozan was forced into being your one. In this season, DeMar DeRozan, and because remember, like early in the season, Zach and DeMar were doing the same thing. Zach was cooking, knocking down 3 balls, knocking down shots. DeMar
had the best backcourt in the league.
Had the best backcourt in the NBA at a certain point in this NBA. But as it kept going, you saw DeMar just keep. We were like, why the heck is DeMar like just taking so many shots? Why is he not giving Zach these opportunities? Yeah. And now you see like he had no choice. Like Zach LaVine is hobbled in a lot of these games. Zach LaVine is 50% of himself on a good day. DeMar DeRozan is going to have to take more shots, take more opportunities, take more, be more aggressive and stuff like that. And when you tell a scorer be more aggressive, he's not going to all of a sudden start moving the ball around, right? So like, he's going to start being passive out of nowhere, right? So like,
he's not going to go out there and get you 15 assists. You know what I'm saying?
Like, so it's interesting to me to hear that today and see what we saw. But to me in the playoffs, right, it shows you that DeMar DeRozan is a player that can get you 41, but he's also that guy that if you go up against the right defense, he can be shut down. It's not that DeMar DeRozan was taking bad shots in a couple of these games where he's 5 for 10, 4 for 9. He couldn't find shots because he lives in that mid-range. Zach LaVine has to be your number one option. You hope that he comes back 100% healthy. You hope with Lonzo Ball on the court that adds to them. But I mean, before we kind of get up out of here and just, you know, one, we want to hear how you guys feel. Let us know in the comments below as well. How do you think the Bulls fared this season? How would you grade this season? And Kidd, I want to ask you, how would you grade this Bulls season as it stands right now that we know how the season ended, everything that we saw this year? How would you say this season went down for the Bulls? Successful, good season, bad season based on how it ended? How would you call it?
It was a good season. I think anytime you use the word successful, you're talking about deep playoff run, championship type caliber thing. But good season in the sense of we are leaps and bounds better than we were the season before. And the season before that, especially. I would say this, and I really want to get your opinion on it. I know we're keeping it short, but a couple of things. One, how do you grade Billy Donovan? And, you know, considering all he's gone through with the different lineups, the injuries we dealt with, COVID, all of that stuff, how would you grade Tristan Thompson and his contribution since joining the roster? Those are the two people I really want to get your opinion
on. Billy Donovan, to me, I would give him a B. I'm not going to lie to you. Billy Donovan was somebody who I said came in here and he did not adjust. The video is still on the channel. I did not want Billy Donovan to be the head coach of the Chicago Bulls.
Okay.
My hope was that
sticking to it.
No, and here's the thing. Like now he's here. He's my coach. I like him. And you know what? Yeah. He's not a dumb head coach. He knows basketball. He understands basketball. And there's a lot that players have to do on top of Billy Donovan being a coach for Billy Donovan to look good, right? And I'm not going to be the guy that when the Bulls are coming back from big or dominating, or they're coming back from down big to win these games, that all of a sudden it's like Billy Donovan had nothing to do with that. But when he's getting beat bad because Kobe White can't close out on defense, or Zach LaVine doesn't have the physical capabilities to stick these guys defensively and stay in front of them, I'm not gonna kill him on that either, right? Like I understand there's a relationship there, but I would give him a B because there are moments where Billy Donovan he's a player's coach to the point where I want the players to figure it out so that when we get in these moments down the stretch, they understand what the moment is. I think he lets that go a little bit too long. Even tonight in tonight's game, it got to 20-10, but it was 7-8, and you let them go on a 12-point run. No, it got to like 23-10. So you let them go on a 13-point run, 15-point run before even calling a timeout. And then Milwaukee ended up calling a timeout in that situation. So like, I think that he sometimes lets the players try to figure it out themselves, and it doesn't always work. I understand the philosophy behind it, but I think that sometimes that can work to your hindrance. That can work to your detriment. And even like how we saw in this playoffs, right? The first time he used the challenge was in today's game, and it was in the first quarter.
You know how I feel about that.
There's some moments. Listen, you can't take them home with you. You know what I'm saying? There's some moments with that where I would have loved to see him challenge the ball. I'm not going to say that he got out-coached in this game. I think they're just a better not in this game, in this series. I think they're just a better team through and through. Like, I can coach you as much as I want on how to guard Giannis. He's still Giannis freaking Antetokounmpo. Tristan Thompson Tristan is a poor signing. It's a signing by AK where there was better talent out there. I've been screaming for Boogie Cousins for a while though, so nobody listens to me at this point. But I've been screaming for Boogie Cousins. When the Bucks cut him, I was like, this is the perfect time to go get him. One, you're playing the Bucks. He understands what they're doing. He's been in their practices. He understands their building. Listen, technical fouls don't bother me. You know who leads, who's also up there in the NBA in technical fouls? Like, we acting like you get 2 a game. First off, that's 2 free throws. We're bringing him in as a bench piece. Luka absolutely leads the NBA. I don't know if he leads it anymore. Boogie might have caught up. No, I think
he's up there. He's up there.
PJ might have it actually. I don't know who's got it. That's a good question.
Luka's definitely top 3, I believe.
Luka's up there though. But and even to the point where even Lucas said, I got to stop complaining.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So like, I think that there were better pieces out there that you could have gotten, but I don't think it changes the outcome of where this series is. I don't think it changes the outcome of where your season goes, because how many guys, like DeMarcus Cousins isn't slowing guys down in the paint. DeMarcus Cousins is an offensive piece. You got Tristan for the hope that he was going to come in and be this defender. DeMarcus Cousins is an offensive piece at this point. He's not a
great AK.
To me, AK, I mean, I'm high on how AK did. If I'm gonna be honest, that's like the one move this season that I'm like, I don't like that move. I have to give AK at a minimum an A-, because me and you sat here and called the games 2 years ago. We watched this basketball team look like they were a G League team. That might be disrespectful to G League teams, by the way. We watched this basketball team look like they were, I don't even know what level of team it looked like. It looked like a middle school basketball at points in the season, right? So the fact that in 2 years you're here, like AK gets graded for me a little bit different, right? Because yes, making moves in season does a lot, but also like, AK is a grand scheme piece. Like Billy Donovan, what he does day to day makes a absolute difference for the Bulls. AK, what he does over the grand scheme of things is going to make a difference. And I think the Bulls are set up next season to, at a minimum, right, if you don't go out and make a big splash, you end up with solid free agents wanting to be here. Mm-hmm. You end up with trade pieces if you go get a Christian Wood, or like you said, a Sengun, or you go get Jakob Poeltl, where they come into Chicago and they're like, hey, okay, Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, okay, we can make this work. That's not where we were 2 years ago.
Yeah. I actually grade it a little differently, because Billy can only do what he's provided.
True.
And what he was provided, he actually did coach well when he had them all on the floor, in my opinion. I think where he excelled and where I really saw him shine, Billy, that is how he really coached Ayo. A lot of people forget that I
gotta give him credit for development, bro. Like,
development is crazy.
Hey, P. Will had 23 tonight, yo.
You know, we gotta give him credit where credit is due, because we would have never saw Ayo touch the floor as much in many other situations.
Yeah.
Ayo literally was taking minutes away from Kobe White at one point earlier this season. And so I have to give him that appreciation. And then I got to give him the opportunity, the simple fact that he allowed him to make mistakes. Remember, Ayo cost us a game, and then Ayo absolutely won us a game the same week. What coach does that nowadays?
Yeah.
When they got a team of veterans and stuff like that. He found a way to develop this young talent who I think is going to be a pivotal piece for us moving forward. He found a way for us to still evaluate the other pieces who may not be here. We got a real chance to see if they had the opportunity to be here.
Yeah.
No one can sit there and say they didn't get time on the floor to show what they can do. They all had that opportunity. And Billy
legitimately, they all had that opportunity. We saw extended minutes for Troy, extended minutes for BJJ, Malcolm Hill.
If you're not here, it's because based off of what you did when we put you in those situations, this is what happened. And so this could be a situation where maybe AK was like, hey, do the best you can and make sure these people touch the floor so we can evaluate this roster.
Yeah.
And Billy did just that. If that was what happened, I hope that's what happens. There's good synergy within leadership and everything like that. They did their job, then they both get an A+. If it was just fragmented and Billy is just like, hey, listen, I got to see what I got. I love the way he went about it. Did he make some mistakes? We're imperfect. Trust me. He didn't make Minnesota mistakes, thank God. But he made some mistakes. He made some mistakes, and I can live with that. But from this aspect of, I didn't walk into the season saying championship.
Yeah.
I walked into the season saying that we were a top team in the East, and for a while we were.
Yeah.
But for a while we were, and so I'm happy with that. It's not Billy's fault that we end up facing the world champs in the first round.
It's not Billy's fault that you end up facing the world champs with injury, COVID, everything taking you out. It's
not DeMar's fault. It's not Zach. I mean, it is what it is.
not.
They're a better team. And as much as we love to smoke other people who got blown out or swept or whatever like that, guess what? Sometimes a team has your number. Sometimes a team as a collective is just better. And when you see that, you just have to respect it. Right now, the Bucks, top to bottom, are just better. They're better than most of the league. And it showed.
The biggest thing is going to be how you improve, man. Listen, I'll tell you this. Look at Memphis last season. Memphis last season got smoked in 5 games. They won the first game and got smoked the next 4. They were never in it. And now they're the second seed in the West, playing some great basketball. And if we being real about it, without a god awful coaching job, they're probably down in this series.
That goes to show you the talent and coaching, the good and bad coaching on that Minnesota team. Because I mean, for them to be in that situation, but that's a whole different video in itself.
Very next game, great coaching. That's crazy. But hey, we want to know how you guys feel, man. Let us know in the comments below. We'll be down there talking with you in the comments as well. How do you feel about this Bulls season as a whole? How do you feel about this series? And how do you feel about the Bulls getting that playoff experience and going into next season, man? We appreciate y'all for tuning in and rocking with us. As always, it's your boy, Pat the Designer, joined by the pettiest man alive. Mr. P.Kidd is in the building.
Hey,
guys,
don't forget to
stay safe out there, man.
Don't forget to hit the Discord link right there. We're going to post that for you all, too. Get it busting in the chat with you all.
Oh, man. Yeah, hit that Discord link, man. Join up in the Discord. We got it busting over there. It's hilarious over there sometimes. I ain't gonna lie to you. Did Robert come in and say, what if the Bulls get Kevin Durant? It's like, Robert, what? Like, shout out to Robert.
What?
Hey, man, y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. Peace.